G'day ladies and gentlemen, Duckville here. Welcome to a StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm replay cast. I am bringing to you from the cold, snow-filled regions of Polar Night LE, our very new ladder map that has been added in Season 5. So I hope you've all been enjoying your start to Season 5. I've been doing okay. I think I'm doing alright. I think I'm about... I don't know, I do know that one thing about my statistics is I have a ridiculous PVT ratio, which seems really weird to me because I actually feel like I do really badly in PVT. But whatever, let's talk about our players here. We do have a ZvT coming up on Polar Night. Down at the bottom side is our Red Zerg player. He's currently playing for Team Frenetic FRAY. It is Petraeus. Now, you may not know of the name Petraeus, or you may indeed know his name. If you do, it's probably because you're one of the the myriad of fans that he has down here in the C region. Of course, down in Australia and, well, Australia and New Zealand, there are quite a lot of really good Zerg players up on, that play on the Korean ladder and on the NA ladder, doing really well in both of those circumstances. If you're wondering why not EU, it lags quite a lot. Let me tell you what, because you get like... I think it's like 250 ping, more. I think more than 250, maybe 300, depending on your connection to the EU server, which is why you'll never hear any commentator that knows C players talking about them playing on the EU server realistically. But anyway, Petraeus is a really young player from New Zealand. He's 17, if I remember correctly. He's just been he just had his birthday a little while ago, if memory serves me right. And yeah, he's been certainly making a splash in the scene down here. Last month featured as my Zerg Stream of the Month. If you're not sure what the Stream of the Month is, make sure you jump onto facebook.com/duckville.casting and you can check out what that is all about. But he is certainly a high quality Zerg player, up in the top 16 on GM for North America. Almost made it into the Korean GM as well. I actually asked him just before we started the cast, did you make it in? I can't actually remember. And he goes, no, the last spot filled up just before I got in, and that I can refer to him as a Master's Scrub. But Mac, I would never do that to you. I would never call you a Master's Scrub, because you're too handsome and you're too good at the game to be vilified in that way. So he's going to be facing off against a Terran player up at the top side of the map, ironically named Top. Or maybe not ironically, but conveniently named Top. Of course, you may know of this this young Korean player from his stint in Azubu. Left Azubu a couple of months ago, just at the end of July, if I remember correctly. And was also a player on OGS during its original... well, during its original stint through GSL and GSTL and all these kinds of things that these guys played in. Top a player who, well, you'd probably know him. If you mentioned his name and you said how he was in OGS, people go, ah, that guy, that's right. And I don't think, off the top of my head, there's no specific games that I would remember from him, but I do remember he was a pretty decent player, stuck around OGS for quite a while, and then they disbanded, and he moved over to Apex Gaming for a little while after quite a long break out of a proper team, if memory serves, and then moved over to Azubu, and then dropped out of Azubu for a couple months ago. So he's had a bit of a journey, but he has certainly got his name out there quite a bit as one of the really good Terran players of sort of the older style of the scene, the wings scene in general. But as we can see, let's talk about our game. Petraeus is just expanding up towards the top left, or the middle left-hand side here. He's going to take both of his gases in the natural. We've got a bit of droning action going on here from the Zerg player as well. We can see a few more on the way. Extra Queens also coming out. Going to hit those injects as best as possible to make sure he can kick up that production capability. Now what we'll see is one of the, I believe it's out of the first little bit of energy that this Queen will pick up goes straight into putting a creep tumor down. There it is. This is very signature Petraeus, and he does the same thing with this one just over here. Just gets that creep spread started. And now with Polar Night, let's actually just quickly talk about the map here for a second, because it is a little bit of a different map to what you will normally see. It actually reminds me of Destination. If anyone from the Brood War era knows of Destination, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. With this backdoor path, with a little bit of weird action on a ramp going on here, that can lead you into trouble. I've heard a few players have had a bit of trouble with that backdoor path sometimes, with you know, various cheeky strategies involving DTs or some other kind of odd kind of play coming through the back. But it does remind me a little bit of Destination. But we can see the top is going to try and put a little bit of pressure on with his first few Hellions. Keep in mind, he did go CC first into a third CC as well. He's going to try and look to dive inside the front door at the natural here, very much unprotected as it were. Going to rack up quite a few kills there for already, and as we can see, he's going to grab a few more. 8, 9, 10 here for top. Will he be able to get a couple more? It looks like the Lings and the Queens should be able to polish off that last Hellion, and they do exactly that. Another pair also going to make their way in. Will they be able to snipe off a few more of those drones? It looks like the answer is yes. Grabbing, well, 3 more. That is not too bad at all for the Terran play. He's going to be quite happy with that result. It's a pretty decent tally. Of course, it's not a game-ending tally, but it's something that you say, huh, I'm happy with that. Let's go have a coffee and a biscuit. But he can now, you know, get his macro prepared. This is something, of course, at CC first, you do see a lot of Terran players will go into double eBay. They'll want to get their production capabilities ramped up a little bit later than usual. We can see the second and the third racks is just going up now. So this is a bit more of this economic-based style that a lot of Terran players have been utilizing these days. This kind of play is generally designed to get your production ramped up so that you can start kicking out massive amounts of Marines, somewhere around about sort of the I think it's around about the 12 to 14 mark when you get your third base up and running. As you can see, top just going to float this orbital command down here. He's not going to take the one down the back. Why is that? Because there is a big destructible ice glacier covering that base, so it's a little bit annoying to try and take that one. We can see a similar sort of thing here for Petraeus, not opting to take the base at the back. He's going to take this as his third very quickly. Some players do tend to take this one as well, but overall I think it's still a little bit of a learning process as to, well, a learning process and a personal kind of process as to which particular base you take. The top is going to pick up this one, and the question again is why? Well, this one's a little bit closer. It's a little bit easier for him to get his reinforcements down here. If this base were to, if there was an attack coming in from the side, then he can get his reinforcements in a little bit quicker than if he were to run all of his units back down over here, because as we can see, it's a much longer journey to get across to that position here from all of his racks. So we can see just the small differentiation in the bases to take depending on which race you are. Of course, if you are a Zerg player, you generally want to expand away from your opponent, and the Terrans want to expand towards their opponent in this particular matchup. But in this case, it can be a little bit difficult, and we'll see how Petraeus wants to handle this, because this space is pretty much exposed. There's an attack path through the tall grass up here, which can hide some units coming through. We can see that Petraeus wants to get some of his creep spread up through there. That's why that little Ling is over there. We'll see the creep tumor. There it is. Off he goes. And of course, the creep spread is very, very important part of this particular matchup. It enables the Zerg player to get a hold of what's going on the map, as we can see from the vision from Petraeus. He's got a nice amount of vision through his, well, it's almost half, but it's mostly sort of a, like a corner of the map, as it were. So he's got good vision relatively across the map. He can see a few things that are popping around that way, and he's also got the Overlord just covering the back region there as well. So overall, he's sitting in a decent spot. Now, what we'll see from top is whether he wants to push out here. He's got his 1-1, he's got combat shield, stim, he now has a couple of Widow Mines added in for extra effect, kept these Hellions alive from the start of the game, which is always very good. And as you can see, it looks as if he is going to try and push out now. This kind of push, it does want to get some damage done. You want to try and get across to this fourth base or third base, pick up a few drone kills if he can, maybe even the hatchery if possible. And at top is going to definitely clear out some of that that creep that's there as well. As we can see, just down the backside, Petraeus, it's a very signature tactic of his, is to bring along some Lings and some Banes across to his opponent's side of the map towards their third base and try and hide them there. But this time, top was well prepared with his wall and was able to hold that back. So Top's attack didn't really do too much damage, and now as we can see, Petraeus is going to start to really bring up his meter count. Unfortunately, Muta's just flying straight over a couple of those Widow Mines. They're really unfortunate for Petraeus. We can see on the production, well, no, not on the production, we don't have the pneumatized carapace just yet. This is something that really helps out Zerg players, I feel, is that if you can get some of those Overlords and the Overseers roaming across to be able to help out with your attacks, and you can certainly put yourself in a good spot to dodge some of those Widow Mines. But as you can see, Petraeus comes straight across, wants to destroy some of this attack, but some really good Widow Mine hits are able to take out quite a few of those units on the ground. A lot of the Banelings are dead. This could be a little bit of trouble for Petraeus to continually push in on this as Top decides it's time to go. He's just about finished up his 2-2, so he's able to hold back that aggression for now. Loses quite a few of his Marines and some of his other units, but he is able to hold it back for now as Petraeus looks to macro back up. We've got a lot of Lings coming out. The Muta count is starting to increase. A big drop inside the main base. So Widow Mine dropped in for added benefit here. Takes out quite a few of the drones. We can see the worker kill tally going up to 16. Not a massive amount, but still gets some work done inside the main base. So Top really looking to start to add on this pressure right now. We see extra production facilities now coming out. The 3-3 is on the way. Beautiful timing for that as well. And Widow Mines galore is going to start to come out as a second factory is finished up. What we'll see is the Drilling Claws upgrade come out very soon from Top, and he'll really want to start really laying out this pressure on both sides of the map. We'll see him do some drops. We'll probably also see him run across to this third base as well. But Petraeus, he's not one to stand on ceremony as well. Comes straight in towards the natural base, takes out the turret. Looks like some of the SCVs will go down in the process as well. Nice sniping there, a little bit of Mutalisk micro there from the Zerg player. We can see across to the side yet again, just a few of those Lings out there just getting ready to run across into the third base and get some damage done. But the Mutas are able to find a couple of these Widow Mines, sniping one down, not able to get a second. He was looking for another one there, but unfortunately was not able to catch it. And now, as we can see, Petraeus trying to get some damage done. He's really taking advantage of this map right now with the fact that he can come from multiple angles and dive into his opponent's base. But as we can see, Top, he's not done yet either. He's got a drop coming across the left-hand side of the map, gets spotted. We'll find the Spire is actually in this very odd position over here at the third base, but Petraeus is going to come back and he's going to try and defend that as best as possible. Meanwhile, Top takes his time to move forwards. His 2-2 Marine shredding up quite a lot of those Mutas up in the air, and the Widow Mines are able to help push forwards as well. But is he going to continually push forwards, or is this just a little bit of a threat while his drop proceeds through the bottom side of the map? Baneling's prepared to roll in towards the third base. This drop has somehow, I cannot believe this made it all the way, but it is just about to get inside the main base, dropping in a Widow Mine. The Drilling Claw is done. The mine pops out, kills off quite a few of the larvae that were there. Looks like a couple of drones go down as well. But Top has been able to buy himself a little bit of time. He's going to now be able to set up his fourth base. We've got a big push pushing through the center of the map, but Petraeus approaching from two sides. He's going to sweep across with the Lings. He's now going to get in there and get some really good damage done. Takes out quite a lot of the Marines and even those Marauders on the ground. Petraeus is just going to sweep through quite a lot of this. The Mutas now just barging through. They're going to take down quite a lot of the units, but they do suffer a couple of Widow Mine shots in the face. So he is going to have to fall back for now. The Muta count is now currently sitting at 17. Not a bad total, but he is going to need to bring in some more reinforcements on the ground. But Petraeus has been able to get his extra bases now up and running. We can see the 4th, the 5th is now set up, but not actually mining just yet. And his drone count is sitting at a very wonderful 81. So he has the just this wonderful economy that all Zergs would love to have at this point. And, you know, if he can snipe down this orbital command, he'll put himself in a really solid position, and he is able to. Takes it down, and Top comes to the rescue, but unfortunately was not in time. And as you can see, his macro, I'm still kind of wondering why he's at a relatively low count of racks right now. Just the 8 racks for the moment. I kind of feel like maybe adding in 1 or 2 extras, especially when you've got this 4th base now running, is a little bit of a requirement. But he is now starting to add in those Marauders. Knows that those Ultimates are on the way, or perhaps just a little bit of game sense to pick up that they are coming very soon. And Petraeus, well, he wants to snap down this Terran economy. If he can bring Top back down to 3 bases, 3 fully mining bases, then that would be wonderful for him. But Petraeus once again comes in from the side. The Marines are microing themselves back, but not far enough. The creep comes across, and that creep spread is just helping out so much, allowing Petraeus to get across and do all sorts of damage here. A lot of Lings and the Banes do go down in the process, but he is able to take it down at quite a few of those Terran units. We can see the supply sitting at 136 for Top to the 177 of Petraeus. He's kept such a wonderful macro position through this game that he's been able to just constantly reproduce those units very quickly. The Lings, the Banes, and of course we'll very soon start seeing those Ultralists come onto the field as he moves into a position where he's got 5 bases mining gas, and then you can say, well, alright, it's time to go into Ultras, it's time to get some Infestors, all these kinds of really cool units, and that was a massive Baneling explosion. Just picking up a couple of kills there, that Widowmine. The Munis somehow diving forwards a little bit too far. I think they've gone just overextended just a little bit there with Petraeus, but he can rebuild, and he's starting to get a few more Mutalisks. We've also got a single Ultralist on the way. Chitinous plating, we've got Adrenal Glands also on the way, and his upgrades, just having a quick look at them, we've got +2 on the attack of these Mutalisks here. We can see that the Banelings down on the ground have 2-2 themselves, just waiting for the 3-3 to be picked up here for Petraeus. But what he's a little bit focused on right now is getting his units back together. We've got a few Banelings that are going to look to roll in towards this base here, and you could possibly just send in the Banes and they'd be able to do enough damage at the 3rd base. We'll see what happens as Top is now pushing down the left-hand side of the map. The Banelings will sweep through. Will they be able to get a lot of damage done? It looks like the answer is yes. The Banelings inside the 3rd base, tearing through the SCV line, and Petraeus has just completely smashed apart the attacks and the 3rd base of Top. And Top has defended for now. He's kept the base alive, which is important. But will he be able to keep his hopes alive as Petraeus he's just now picking up 1,000,000 gas a second here. We can see, like, well, it's maybe 1,000 gas a second or per minute, but you know, it's something like that. And with his 84 drones, he has just a brilliant economy right now. Looks as if we will lose this base across to the top left-hand side, but not to worry. That's you know, that's a little bit of an extension base. I kind of feel like Petraeus could maybe just swap this one out and take the base down the bottom left-hand side and say, alright, let's just get rid of this ice here. I've got a candle, I can get rid of that, and we can do a bit of mining down there. But for the moment, he's going to leave that one alone, just saving that for a little bit later, I think. But as you can see, Top is now trying to come through. He's trying to cut across and take down this base here. How many does he know about? Yeah, he knows about all the bases and has taken out the one that he can, but he's having a little bit of trouble getting into this one here, because this is a bit of a key here as well. If Petraeus continually mines off these 5 bases and has that extra mineral income as well, he's going to put himself in a really, like, he's already in a very good spot. 172 supply to the 120 of Top, and now with Infestors starting to come out, with Ultralists making their way onto the field, when you get Fungals, you get Ultralists cleaving through things, it starts to become very hectic for Terran players. You need to have really good control of your splitting on Marauders and the Marines. I think that one thing that players forget to kind of do at this late game stage, or it becomes a little bit taxing, I should say, they don't forget, it just becomes a little bit taxing on the APM, is to still try and continue some of the drops. This base is extremely open to be dropped. There's you know, there's a lot of drones here. You can still certainly get some pressure down, but what Top has to worry about right now is where is the big Zerg army, and it's now right in the middle. We've got a lot of Ultralists here, 5 of those guys with their 4-2. Where is the 3-3? Alright, there it is. It's finally on the way for Petraeus, but now the 3rd base is being taken out. The Mutas will look to try and get rid of that orbital command. I think they certainly will. And Top, well, he's looking towards the ice barrier base up at the top right, but unfortunately has not cleared that out yet. And now he's in a position where he needs to be very careful with how he proceeds. A couple of these Baneling landmines down in the ground, doing their best impression of a Widowmine, and we'll see if they do get run over here. It will be very intriguing to see what happens at this particular position on the map. But Petraeus, he's trying to draw his opponent in. This is what he wants to do with these mutas. Take down some of these upgrades, the add-ons, and then draw his opponent across this position on the map, because if he can get a couple of big explosions with that stuff, that will certainly pretty much set up the game for his victory here. But of course Top is now able to take his, well, what is that? That's like a 4th base, I should say, just across at the top right hand corner. Petraeus slowly moving some of his forces down towards the bottom, well, the right hand side of the map, through the middle, controlling the Zilnaga Watchtower. And look at the creep spread, still continuing on. We've got a lot through the middle here. I would love to see him still continue it on through the top side of the map, but he's busy taking another base, getting prepared to take down this large Terran force. But there are a lot of Widowmites here. And we'll see if those guys add in a lot of damage into this fight. And now Top slowly starting to move forward. Targets down one of the Infestors. Very nicely done. 2 Marauders to trade for an Infestor. Not too bad at all. Widowmites just sort of sitting back there. Petraeus does know that they're there. He knows that there is this is a very, very dangerous territory to cross into. With, you know, all of these Widowmites here, it could be very, very dangerous if you run in, whether it be with the Ultralisk or the low count of the Lings and the Banes on the ground. It's going to be very hard for him to push in there. I'm very surprised that Top hasn't gotten rid of this. Surely, okay, he hasn't actually seen it just yet, but the Burrowed Banelings there, we'll see if they come into effect. Petraeus, once again, he's trying to lure his opponent across. Will he be able to bring Top into the fray here? Top says no. He's going to micro back and forth, taking out as many of these Ultras and Banes as he can. The Mutas inside the main base is still getting some work done. He's going to draw them back. And Top is, well, he's just sort of calmly taking this as patiently as he can. I think this is a really good decision for him. He needs to get this base operational if he can, and then try and just bide his time, because he does have these very powerful 3-3 units at the moment. And, you know, when you get the right mixture of the Terran units, it can be it can start to turn the tide against the Zerg player. But Petraeus, as we said, a high quality Zerg player here up in the top 16 in GM, fighting against some of these top Korean players as well. He is not one to be trifled with. So Top needs to be extremely careful with each movement he makes. He needs to be very careful, because much like Sting, Petraeus will be watching him. And as we can see, the Widowmites now moving in. That is a huge count of Widowmites busting up their shots all over just a couple of those Ultras. And now we can see that Petraeus is slowly marching his way through. Will he be able to save this base? It looks like the Widowmites are going to help set up a position for Top to move in here. But no, Petraeus drops down a couple of those the Infested Terrans, and is able to get some damage done. The Mutas are going to have a hard time pushing back against these 3-3 Stim Marines. They've got all their medevac support. This base is done for. The base on the top left-hand side. Is this a fight back here for Top? Will he be able to bring it back into his favor? Petraeus now has some Broodlords out at the middle of the map. These guys look lost. Someone please get them onto googlemaps.com as quickly as possible, because they have no idea what they are doing there in the middle of the map. Petraeus caught out a little bit by this double attack from Top, and we'll see if Top is able to wrest control of one of these bases. I don't know. I don't think he needs to bother with this base. The big thing which Top needs to be worrying about right now are his minerals. And as we can see, he's brought some of the SCVs across to the top right-hand side base, and he's got that one mining away quite nicely. Let's check out Petraeus' mining as well. We can see that he's got, you know, his main and his natural are done. The third is done. The fourth is getting a little bit low as well. So this has sort of put Petraeus in an awkward spot. He needs to be able to set up some more income here at the this fourth basic, or the which one is that? The fifth base, sorry. Or even the ice base down the bottom right-hand side. Ice, ice, baby indeed. And we'll see if he's able to do that, because now we have this really, really cool mixture. This is a point where a Zerg player really starts to really like this mixture, is when you've got the Broodlords there for their long-range sieging tactics. You can throw down the Broodlings here. The other fun part about Broodlords in this matchup is that the little Broodlings will take up some of the Widowmine shots. So if you can get some damage done with that, that is really, really good. You've then got the very tanky Ultras on the ground, a few Infestors thrown in for good measure as well, and that can really net you some easy bases. So Petraeus is going to try and fly through the back door. Is he? Oh wow, he is. He's going to try and come through the back door towards this the base down the back side, and he's going to get in. He's going to be able to take out these starports extremely quickly. That means no Viking reinforcement here for Top. He's going to take down the other base as well. Here we go, trying to get rid of as many of these construction buildings as he can. The starport goes down. This second one is in a little bit of strife as well, but Top has now come across towards the top left-hand side base yet again. Wants to take this one down. Wants to get rid of this extra little bit of income that Petraeus has, and it has been foiled for the moment. But Petraeus is now running rings around his opponent inside the natural base, sniping off a couple of those buildings. Will he be able to cut down the economy and the production of Top? Only time will tell. We'll keep an eye on these Mutas as they slowly start to engage through. But Petraeus, I think, is looking for this attack on this base. It is time. He needs to get in there. He's brought his opponent back. Top has filled up his medevacs. I have no idea why all these medevacs are filled up, but He's got all of his units up in there. The rest of the units are not defending this base here. And as we can see, Petraeus, he's in a beautiful position to take it here. And I think we will. We will see him move forwards towards that base right now. He's a little bit busy at the moment trying to snipe down some of these units, just keeping his opponent back. The Broodlords are the thing that are going to look towards that planetary fortress, and they will try and lay down some of those Broodlings to take that base down. Yet again, Top is now coming across towards his side base. He knows that if he can limit his opponent's economy to just a single base, if not none, of course that'd be your preference, then he will certainly be able to control this game with efficient use of his Terran units. But he has now lost his own base. He only has one mining base right now, the top right hand side, and there is another big drop here from Top. Comes through towards the 9 o'clock position, takes out the last hatchery that was there. Only real thing that was mining here was a little bit of extra gas, but not to worry. Top is now going to come through the bottom left hand side and say, wow, alright, he still has that base. That sort of says to you, it sort of says, well, that's actually a good thing because he hasn't been mining off it. But it's also a bad thing in the fact that, well, he could take this base, and that's going to be really secure because it's down the bottom the bottom left-hand side of the map, very far away, and it's going to be hard for me to take that one. So Petraeus now has to make the decision here. Do I try and just take him down, and just try and finish him off, just go hard or go home? Or do I try and re-secure this base here while trying to protect my opposite side bases along here as well? And Top is doing a wonderful job of just trying to threaten across the map here. We can see some of his forces rolling in. But speaking of rolling, here comes the fungal growth, the ultras, the mutas, and even a few corruptors to help out with those medevacs. And Petraeus takes a 20 supply lead, but is slowly but surely losing all of his hatcheries. We have only 3 production facilities available for the Zerg player right now. Our Terran player Top, he is slowly starting to wrest back control of this game. He's up to 142 supply. We can see that his income is also starting to dwindle. He's down to just a measly 37 SCVs, has quite a bit of minerals coming in. Of course, the advantage of those lovely mules as they slowly drop down there. But Petraeus, what is he mining? He is currently mining absolutely nothing at this point. We've got some long distance drones trying to pick up as much as they can, long distance from the bottom left side base. He is going to set this base up, and this is going to be relatively secure. As long as he's protected against drops, I think Petraeus should be able to keep that base alive, and therefore keep his hopes alive of taking this game. But once again, of course, you know, Top, not one to be underestimated. A very high class, well, not the highest, but definitely a high class Korean Terran player here who has been able to fight his way and keep things alive for the moment. Let's keep an eye on what he knows is going on. He knows that there is a, you know, the big force of Zerg units are through the middle of the map here, just biding their time, wanting to try and lock down this base. And that, you know, he just needs to be careful of that. But he also needs to be careful of this back base here. And if he can keep that alive, then he'll be alright. But I don't know how to call this one. It is certainly looking towards Top at this present point, though. So many Marines, so many Widow Mines that are now out on the map. Some of them have been left at home just to protect the base, but I think the Top is now going to start to move his way forward to drop down the bottom left-hand side. A double drop of Marines coming in there with their medevacs as well. Drones have to be extremely careful, and they are. Slowly, Top loses those Marines, and the drones get back to work. Petraeus, will he be able to save this game? I think... I don't know, this is really hard to call. We've got 153 supply of army here for Top, while his opponent only has 116. Petraeus just completely struggling for any kind of resource at this point. He has to be amazingly efficient with all of his units. He needs to keep these infestors alive in particular. These Broodlords, of course, they're very high cost but high efficiency units here. If he can keep these alive, then I think he can certainly still win this game. But Top is, if he can, you know... I think Top is looking to come down towards this base here. He's going to see this and say, why isn't my opponent taking that base? He must be getting very, very low on minerals, or, you know, possibly have none at all. So Top is just checking out what's going on. He's going to try and secure this position. I would like to see him maybe try and just sort of secure a zone here where he can then set down his one of his orbital commands, maybe even make another planetary fortress or something like that. But for the moment, it looks as if he's just willing to sit down here, control this position, there's not a huge amount of minerals here, but I mean, every little bit counts. There's like quite a few hundred minerals there that is available to Top if he so desires. But as time goes by, Petraeus is going to get his it's effectively a third base down the bottom left-hand side up and running. We're going to add in a couple of spine crawlers as well, just for a little bit more defense. Ling's just camping out here, protecting these minerals as well. Still, it's not a huge amount, but it is some minerals, and you have to be very careful. Terrans, with their efficiency in their units. Top is now going to push through the left-hand side of the map. Will he be able to make it across? Petraeus is now going to lay down another hatchery here. The Vikings trying to find a little bit of a lead on where those broodlords are. Take a couple of shots, but haven't taken any out just at the moment. Petraeus, will he be able to save these drones here? It looks like if he can take down the medevac. Yes, there it goes, and that is really, really good for Petraeus, holding that back for now. He did have to move his units out of position here. This is starting to look very Wings of Liberty, but this is alright, as long as he has some vision here, which he still does have with these creep tumors. Then he can certainly keep an eye on what's going on, maybe even slowly move back up there. Top at the moment does not know that the base at the top left has been picked up. So this is really important time. It's starting to get really tense here in this game, as these two players are just starting to move into a position where they need to be as efficient as possible. These Widow Mines have to stay alive. These Vikings, of course, if they get fungal, then you're in trouble town, population top. And, you know, as he looks to build up his some of his extra little production facilities here, such as the extra command centers, we've got medevacs and Vikings now starting to pop out. Top is just about to max out, so I think he's going to want to make a move here. Does he decide to move down and take the economic decision by picking up this base on the right side here, or does he look to go for the kill? It's going to be a very hard decision to make here. Petraeus has a lot of firepower in these infestors, the ultras that are here as well. A few Banes, some Lings there is out on the side, and even the Corruptors up in the air are a little bit threatening at this point. But Petraeus, for the moment, is going to be comfortable to sit back and wait to see what Top is doing. So Petraeus is, will he know? Yes, he will know that that is coming through, but the mutas are a little bit busy inside the main base, looking to get some damage done. And these guys are just trying to snipe down some of these add-ons as best as he can. It's always good to take some of them down if you're able to. And well, we can see that some of the mutas are slowly starting to get cut down. I'm not sure if Petraeus does want that on his plate, but he does need to start to make the decision. Do I, decide to slowly pick stuff off, or am I going to try and finish him off straight up? Because I think in a direct battle, it's going to be very dependent on fungals, but I think that Top would win, depending on how his Widow Mines hit as well. This is, this can be a very difficult part about calling a game like this, where it's gotten to the late game and both the players are starting to really max out with their tech. We can see that, there is 3 available for basically everything here. We've got 3 on the Lings and the Banes, 3 attack on the mutas, plus 1 on their carapace, but that's not to worry. But, this is starting to get a little bit worrisome, and yeah, here it is. Top is going to move down towards this base on the southern side here, and this is perfect. What he is doing here is starting to control this zone. He wants to be able to control these entry and exit points into this base here. As long as he controls those, then he certainly will be able to fix up, set up, and take this base. But now we can see that Petraeus is moving into position from all sides. He is going to approach the Broodlords, the Ultras, the Infestors, the Lings, and the Banes up on the high ground here. Will Petraeus be able to finish off these units, as they are now effectively trapped? And we'll see if Petraeus is going to move in there. It's getting very, very tense. We can see that Top is trying to snipe down one of the infestors. If he can, that'd be quite nice, but unfortunately not able to. Picks up a couple of the units, then gets out of there. A big drop down in the main base. The hatchery is going to be targeted down, but here comes Petraeus. Widow Mines firing out. Fungal growth across on a huge portion of the Bio army here. The Vikings going to work on the Corruptors. Ultras coming through, chomping down the Bio forces on the ground. And Top falls down to 95 supply, but he has been able to take out the hive. But Petraeus has still quite a lot of his high-powered units still alive. 6 infestors are out. We've still got a bunch of the Ultras still available, and the Broodlords are there as well. This puts Petraeus in a troublesome spot, because he's going to lose he's lost his hive and the spawning pool. But will he keep his economy alive? Another drop now pushing through for Top. Will it be able to get the damage done on the hatchery? It needs to. Looks like the answer will be a no. 70 health left over on this hatchery here. keep in mind Petraeus did pick up this base towards the top left-hand side as well. And this game has just gotten very, very crazy because Top, he's now going to start to struggle for his minerals. He was the one, 10 minutes ago we were saying this guy is in a great position, but now one unfortunate engagement for him. He left his economy, he left his opponent's economy, mining away up to the top left side here. And now Top is sitting in a position where he has 16 harvesters. He has around about, well, a tiny amount of mineral income, and it's about to fall to 0 very soon. But he also has a very, very low unit count. 3 Marauders, 7 Medevacs, 1 Viking, and 7 Marines, and there you go. The GG comes out from Top. He's had enough, and yeah, I mean, upon seeing that your opponent has that extra base there, you're not able to cut it down, that really puts you in a tough spot. And Top he did his best that he could, but unfortunately was not able to take out Frenetic Array's Petraeus. Make sure you go and check out the stream of Petraeus. He streams very actively and does a bit of commentary while he's playing on the Korean ladder, and of course up in the high end of the GM on North America. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, jump onto Facebook as well, facebook.com/duckville.casting. You can also catch me streaming things on twitch.tv/duckvillelol. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Here, as you can see, 47 damage to bio units and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really, really nicely there. And for minigun, he's been sticking with a much more